Hi, my name is Julia Kingdon, and I am the Vice Chair of the Canadian Bar Association's National Law Student Section. And this video is part of the 20 Questions in 5 Minutes series. And today we're going to be talking about the practice of criminal law from the perspective of our practicing attorney and fantastic guest, Melissa Hazelton. Welcome, Melissa. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Julia?
Good. So you got the premise that I'm going to ask you 20 questions. I might ask you a few more than 20 questions because I tend to get curious. So just be forewarned. And the idea is that we're timing you. Hopefully you can answer in 5 minutes, but don't shorten your answers for that sake. We want to hear everything that you know and learn from your experiences. So if you're ready, then we'll get going.
Let's do this.
Okay. Okay, what is your first question? What is your specific area within criminal law? Tell us about where you practice.
So I'm a Crown attorney. I work for the provincial government in Manitoba and the Manitoba Prosecution Service.
Oh, fantastic. And how long have you been practicing?
I will have been called to the bar for 10 years this year and with prosecutions for almost 9.
Ooh. And when did you first get involved with the CBA?
I first got involved with the CBA, I think it was in early 2013.
Oh, so pretty early on then within your practice, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how has the CBA influenced your practice? Like what kind of role has it played for you?
Well, I have found in particular that being part of the CBA has really given me an opportunity to sort of hear about and understand stuff that's happening across the country. In particular, especially since the pandemic and all this COVID stuff, like knowing how other jurisdictions are dealing with it, the CBA has sort of been given me an opportunity to hear about that and understand that in a way that I wouldn't have without it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your early days in your practice. Where did you go to law school?
I went to law school at Robson Hall at the University of Manitoba.
Oh, born and raised in Manitoba, right?
I was, yeah.
What's the most useful thing that you learned in law school?
Ooh, the most useful thing I learned
There's
in
got to be
law
something.
school. Law school is so different from the actual practice of law. I think the most useful thing I learned in law school was the terminology, like what all the legal jargon meant and how to read a case and what to look for in a case, because that is a really important part of practicing law.
Awesome. What is one thing that took you way longer than it should have when you were starting out?
That took like to do?
Yeah.
Research. I have definitely gotten way better at research as time has gone on.
What is one piece of advice that a mentor gave with you that stuck with you?
Don't spend a lot of time worrying about what the people around you are doing. Focus on your own practice and what you need to do to succeed in it.
Nice. Have you ever felt imposter syndrome?
All the time. That's probably a terrible answer, but honestly, like I think it's really normal to kind of have those feelings.
My next question was going to be, do you still feel it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to, but definitely still happens.
Who do you consider to be a phenomenal lawyer in your field?
A phenomenal lawyer in my field. There's a lot to choose from. If I were to pick a specific individual, I would pick like a bazillion of my colleagues, but I will specifically identify one. Her name is Reka Malavia. She is also a Bar Association member. She's an amazing mentor. She works so hard to support more junior lawyers. And in particular, she is super supportive of women in the profession, which is something that's becoming more and more talked about, and I think really important.
Fantastic. What's a critical precedent that changed your field?
Jordan, the Supreme Court decision in Jordan in, I think, 2016, it changed everything.
What website do you use the most for work?
For work, probably Westlaw.
What do you do to unwind?
I like to bake a lot.
What is one of the most challenging aspects of your job?
Dealing with people who have been victims of crime and who are traumatized and who I need to get to come to court or get them through something.
Are there common misperceptions about what it's like to work as a prosecutor?
Probably. One would maybe be that you don't work as hard when you work for the government, but that is not the case. Many of us work a lot of really long, hard hours.